All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So thank you everyone for attending today's Spatial IQ for MapGeo webinar. Today's focus is MapGeo tips and tricks. So maybe you'll learn some things that you weren't sure it was possible to do on MapGeo. So let's jump right into it. First, some logistics. All of you are currently in listen only mode, and this webinar is being recorded. A recording of the webinar will be shared after and posted online. If you would like to watch any of our past recordings, there will be a link at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, then throw them right into that Q&A or chat box. We will be monitoring those during the presentation, and we will go over any questions at the end. So today's presenters, myself, Rebecca Davis, I'm a project manager here at MapGeo. I've been a project manager focused on local government, mainly in Connecticut, as well as Rhode Island and some Massachusetts clients. I've been part of the Spatial IQ for MapGeo team for about 8 years now. Carson, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Carson Bellino. I've been here at AppGeo for about 3 years now. I'm a project manager and GIS analyst that mainly focuses on the spatial IQ from AppGeo clients, as well as some enterprise management work.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eilina Tomioka. I've been with AppGeo for a little over a year now and primarily work as a project manager and GIS analyst on the MapGeo team as well.
My text isn't loading. Is it animated? It is not. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So just a little bit of the Spatial IQ for MapGeo program. Spatial IQ is a managed services packages bundle that we bundle with the MapGeo product itself. This is to work on your foundational data updates, as well as any additional services work. And with that Spatial IQ program, we have a couple of benefits depending on what tier level you are part of. So some of those benefits could be an annual strategic planning meeting, which is with the entire key staff and departments within the town to talk about all things GIS, to go over any gaps or needs that might be missing in GIS. We also have hosted downloadable data for MapGeo as an option, and we also have these webinars as part of that program. So what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to go over quickly the MapGeo roadmap, things that we've been doing to keep MapGeo functioning. We also have a couple of slides to go over the fundamental functionality of MapGeo. So that's kind of the basics, how to search around, move around. Then we're going to get into some more advanced functions. After that, we're going to do a really quick demo. And then at the end, we will talk about ways to get in touch with MapGeo support if you need help. So we're going to jump right into it. So Eilina, you want to talk to us about MapGeo?
Perfect. Thank you, Rebecca. So what is MapGeo? In its simplest form, it's a hosted mapping platform and GIS solution for building smarter cities and counties. More so, we like to think of it as a dynamic citizens hub where anyone can use it as a research tool and public resource for city planning, environmental education, historical inventory, you name it. It truly helps the community stay at your fingertips and better provide access to all the information your local area has to offer.
Right. Now that we know that, go ahead and talk about the roadmap.
Next, we're going to jump into the roadmap. So as part of the MapGeo team, we're constantly making updates and improvements based on client needs, availability of new data, and advances in technology. This year, some of you probably know that we've implemented security upgrades to all automatic data uploaders. So just taking this time to thank you to all of our clients for their patience and partnership as these were being installed. You also may notice some updated state themes, which you'll see on the list to the right, as well as the implementation of standardized legends for a cleaner and more intuitive look. Remember, as states release new public data, always feel free to reach out if you'd like to see it on MapGeo for your community to engage with. In addition, something we're really excited about is the integration with SOA, which is a Sanborn Oblique Analyst tool, which Rebecca will touch on a little bit later with us today in the webinar. Lastly, in the works is a ton of backend maintenance for MapGeo, always in the works, and I'll share how you can reach out to us later on. And this includes the building, the ability to sync ArcGIS online feature services.
Great. We're going to start off with the fundamentals. So Alina, I'll let you just take it away.
Yep, going on. So to start off, very basic, sign in, roles, and users. So permissions can be handled so that more sensitive information is shown only to logged in users, and different groups of users can have access to different data. So this means that while the city officials may need access to properties and utility information, citizens can request that their property information be hidden from the general public or from those without login credentials. If you do have a MapGeo account, though, you can log in by clicking the icon at the bottom left of your screen. Clients with dashboard access can configure these roles on their own for internal, public, and different departments' uses as well, ensuring that sensitive data is available only for those authorized to see it. The MapGeo team is always here to assist with clients who don't have dashboard access with setting these permissions, so always feel free to reach out. Not only can these be configured to show and hide specific data, but we can also fine-tune access to functionalities such as saving and viewing saved markups, using abutters tools, downloads, certain overlay themes, and even preview panel fields. So very configurable and specific to the client's needs and the community's needs. So let's talk about some key features, some fundamental workflows. We find that the most common MapGeo workflow is to find or select a parcel by executing a quick search, or by clicking a parcel, just zooming into the area if you know the area well. This is to view the property information. So in the screenshot, you can see that we've searched for Church Street just as a whole, and all the parcels on that street are highlighted in green for you to choose the specific property from the results. So you can either go in with your mouse and click the property, or you can scroll through the scroll through the results list and select the specific address that you're looking for. From there, a user can view further property details within the property panel, such as owner information, parcel area, and valuation, as well as by opening the property record card link circled in orange. A really great feature in this is that users can share a view of MapGeo with selected parcels, base maps, and overlay themes by simply copying the URL at the top of your browser in the search bar and pasting it into an email or chat for colleagues. Whoever receives that URL will be able to see where your screen was zoomed into and any selections you may have made. So next, I know I've used the word themes a couple of times. This is used to describe the customizable map layers provided by the state, the county, or municipality. Users can access a variety of spatial data to show zoning jurisdictions, active construction sites, trail lines, and this can be seen one by one or all at once, because all of them have the ability to adjust transparency levels. So to turn on a theme, you can use the toggle button on the top right corner to turn it off, and use the slider to adjust the transparency level. Again, you're able to share URLs with themes turned on and parcels selected, and you can share directly what you see on your screen. As for imagery, we have a lot of options. You can see imagery as base maps or as overlays. You can have imagery from different sources, from statewide imagery, Google Tilt imagery, or even imagery that your local community has subscribed to, or taken photos of themselves. You can view imagery in a base map drop-down menu, and your site can be configured so that the imagery is also available as an overlay. So this is a really great benefit because you can turn on the overlay theme above a base map theme to see different vintages of imagery on top of each other. And that way you can get a quick visual of how the area has changed over time. You can see how, you know, tree cover has changed depending on the time of year that the imagery has been taken. So by going to 1 year on the base map and toggling on another year as an overlay, you can really compare and contrast how your local area has changed. Most sites also have Google Satellite, which is constantly updated and part of your subscription. As states publish an OCG, or Open Geospatial Consortium compliance service, it will be added to your site as part of your subscription. So sites can also request additional imagery, like I said, and any statewide imagery that's open to the public can also be added. I did mention specifically Google Tilt Map imagery. This is really cool for more urban areas. Google Tilt Map imagery can allow you to zoom in and see your town not from a bird's eye view, but from at an angle. And in order to do this, you turn on Google Satellite theme, zoom in, and wait for the window icon to appear. So you can see an example of that highlighted in red on this slide. Once the icon's clicked, the map will change to show the imagery. And so this is of downtown Boston. Gorgeous. This is included for all clients, but may not be available in your area. Sorry, Rebecca, thank you. Additionally, Google Street View. I really love this feature because you don't have to also have a tab open for Google if you want to go straight into the street. MapGeo includes the ability to jump directly into Google Street View from our own site interface. This allows for different municipalities and counties to look at different assets, so utilities, catch basins, bike lanes, street parking. You know, any tourists coming into your local area can make sure that they can park at the restaurant that they pinpointed. So this is used by simply dragging the Pegman icon located at the top left corner of your map. He first shows up in yellow, and as you drag him, he'll move on to the map. And then where Street View is available, the streets will line up in blue, just like you would on Google Maps. And then you're able to virtually walk down the street, look around at 360 degrees. It's a super helpful tool when you want to see assets along a street without having to go into the field. So especially for a lot of our clients, this is a huge, huge time saver. And of course, we want to make sure your day-to-day responsibilities are at your fingertips and efficient as possible. You'll also notice the red pin icon on properties within the Street View. This is special to MapGeo, as those pins will open the property panel for the specific parcel, which is something that you can't do in Google Maps. So you can also see all of that information from the Google Street View. We've heard from several assessors that this has been really handy for viewing properties and capturing some attributes before actually going out for them to make assessments. So very, very cool tool.
The other key thing too, if you get stuck in Google Street View, there's a little back to map button, which people seem to get stuck a lot in Street View. So if you hit that go back, it'll bring you back to the main MapGeo view.
Perfect. Thank you, Rebecca. Next, we're going to talk a little bit more about selections. So we've talked about being able to zoom in and click on a parcel and selecting it individually or searching for a single parcel. However, you can also on MapGeo select multiple features at once. And this is done by drawing the selection area on the map by using the draw tool. And you can easily add additional selections by making a second or third drawing. And you can use the edit tool to remove or add any additional features to a selection. The selected features can then be used to generate an abutters list. Or for those of you who are not familiar with the New England term, I was not until I moved to Boston a while ago. That is a list of surrounding or adjacent parcels is the term abutters. The selection can also be used to print a map or simply download the list of selected features. And I'll talk a little bit more about abutters in the next slide. So the abutters tool is used to find adjacent or nearby parcels. The tool can be run on single or multiple features, and the buffer distance can be easily adjusted. Results can be added or removed from an abutter selection with a click and then downloaded as mailing labels or a spreadsheet. So this is really helpful when municipalities may want to send out, their newsletters to landowners, and they need to print out a spreadsheet of all of their addresses to send out. Your MapGeo site does come with a set default distance. However, this is configurable, as are most things on MapGeo, and can easily be changed by contacting a MapGeo support person. With the download results, just a little bit more information and insight into what this looks like. So the search results can be downloaded, like I said, as mailing labels or as a spreadsheet, similar to how results are downloaded from abutters. They can be any list to be downloaded, so abutters, searches, selections, and related units. And you can have a spreadsheet just for data maintenance, record keeping purposes, as well as the mailing labels, like I said, to send out notices. If your local trash pickup day is changing, then you want to be able to contact your landowners and residents in the most simple way.
All right. Thank you so much, Eilina. We're going to take a quick poll from the audience. We want to hear from you for the functions that we just went over as kind of like the basic functions. Which tools do you find most useful? Let me start the poll, and everybody should have a pop-up on their screen. You can select more than one answer. We'll give folks a minute to put their submissions in. All right, we're looking pretty steady. Looks like the most popular one seems to be searching for property. Let me end the poll and I can share the results with everybody so you can see how everybody is currently using MapGeo and all the different ways you're able to use it. The most popular is definitely searching for an individual property, it looks like. So, all right, let's continue on. So now we're going to talk about some of the advanced MapGeo features, starting off with advanced searches. So Eilina talked about kind of the basic search. You want to search for a street, you want to search for a very specific address, a map number. This kind of takes it to another level. So you're still able to do all of those different searches, but now you can add in different attributes that you want to search on to pull a more specific list for something a little bit more unique than just an address. So in this example here on the screen, we are looking for apartment style properties that have more than 3 stories. So in this list, you can see scattered across town, there are several little green parcels highlighted here. And again, you have a full search result list here that you're able to download. You're able to export it out as you see fit, or if you're looking for a property within there, you can just pan over and search and zoom into that property to see more details, look at the property record card, things like that. And you can also configure the advanced search to your need. So if there is a search that either the assessor or the planner has most often, you can provide additional attributes to search on, which is configurable on your MapGeo site. Just reach out to either your project manager or the MapGeo support team. Building off of the advanced search, there's also a spatial filter and a spatial search within MapGeo. So rather than searching for a number of stories, we're looking to see what criteria fits in here for the number of rooms within this particular circle. So the spatial filter is down here in the middle. You just click add your circle where you want it to, the area that you would like to search in. We also added an additional search here to sort descending by year. So when I click on search, I'd get that results list on the right-hand side, and I'm able to do what I please from there. The next one we're going to talk about are markups. I think the most common use in the markup tool that we've seen is really the measure tool, whether you're measuring a line segment or you're trying to measure the area of a building. You have the ability to do a variety of different measures. You're also able to do a true markup and draw features on a map. Say you want to mark up where a potential new shed is going to go on your property. You could do that on there and then share that with, if the planner is doing that, it can then share that with the assessor. The only way to share markups internally within MapGeo, you do have to be a logged in user. So on the right hand side here, you're able to name the markup whatever you want, put the address of the property, and a little description of what's going on, potentially adding a new shed, just so they're aware of what's going on. And then you can hit save. And then within the console, you're able to see all of your previously saved markups. If not, the public does usually have access to markups as well. They're able to do measures. They're just unable to save anything, but certainly take a screenshot of it if you need to share it with somebody. Moving on to hosted downloadable data. As I said in the beginning, this is part of the Spatial IQ benefit for certain tiers. So you will automatically get hosted downloadable data configured on your MapGeo site. Certainly, we have a conversation with you first to kind of get an understanding from you what data is requested most often that you'd like to put on there. You can put as limited number or as many data layers that you have available to you that is your data. The most common ones that we see are the parcels, maybe zoning, building and structures, as well as road center lines. But you can configure that to also include any utility data and things like that. And again, that can be set to only be available to logged in users, or it can be available to the public. It just depends on how your municipality would like to handle distributing and knowing where your data is going. All right, here's the big one. Here's the SOA integration. So this again is the Sanborn Oblique Analyst. This is a product of Sanborn. As most of you are probably aware, MapGeo was acquired by Sanborn last year. And we have been working to get the integration configured so you are able to look at true oblique imagery within MapGeo. So as you pan in MapGeo up in this top section, which all of you are used to as a view, the SOA down below will also pan around and move. You're also able to do oblique measures. So you can measure the height, the angle, the length within that oblique view as well, to kind of get more defined measures of how tall a building might be, or look to see how many windows are on the back side of a property if you can't see it from street view. So obliques have a lot of great attributes that you're able to pull from, and especially having it integrated with MapGeo is going to be really beneficial. So we're hoping this is going to be rolled out very soon. The next is document linking. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. So these first two examples are linking, the left side is to the data itself within a theme. And then the screenshot on the right is linking to the property panel. So first I'm going to talk about the sewer theme that we have turned on. When you click on the sewer line in green, it will create a pop-up with the name of the file that was used. So in this case, this was an as-built that was used to digitize the sewer lines. You also have your slope at the bottom, and you can see that grade plan down below. So it's super helpful to have those right, again, on MapGeo. If you're in the field and there's an issue, the field crew is able to just pull this directly up on their phone and kind of see and confirm that the data that they're seeing on MapGeo is coming from an authoritative source. The example on the right is in the property panel. So when a parcel is selected, the sewer lateral card that is related to that parcel comes up automatically. If there's more than one card, you'll see a little arrow to kind of go back and forth between the multiple cards that are associated to that property. But again, it brings the card directly up in MapGeo or as a second tab. you're able to see some additional details. And we've heard from a lot of sewer departments that this is extremely helpful, especially in scenarios where there's emergencies and the crews don't have time to do the research ahead of time on the computer at their desk, where they're able to just pull this up directly on their phones while they're out in the field in an emergency case to see where all of the connections are. Another type of linking is third-party linking to different applications. So this instance, we are showing the linking to um, City View, and we are pulling the permit number. Again, very similar to the other one. You click on the parcel, you're able to see the primary permit that is associated to that. Once you click on that link, it will also bring up a second tab and bring you to the record within City View to oh, sorry, not City View, OpenGov, my apologies. All of the records that are associated to that and their status. So the city of Watertown was one of our first customers to get this set up, but we've been hearing a lot about OpenGov, so people are very interested in this integration. So all we basically need from you is just an extract of a table that has kind of saying that this parcel goes with this permit, and we're able to set that up behind the scenes and get that configured for you pretty quickly. Additionally, you can see here that there are a lot of additional links that we have in their property panel. So you can link out to the interactive zone map, which brings up another permitting application where they're able to check on different zonings. Find Your Zone, again, links up to another tab for another application that the city has. You're able to bring up different Google Maps. It'll link you to your pet licensing. You can put as many links in that property panel as you need. Another example is dynamic property information. So within your property panel, you can build this out to not only pull information and data from the camera about the specific property, but you can also do spatial spatial joins, if you will, to see things that are near you, what district you're in, what day your trash day is, things like that. So in the case for West Hartford, they have a couple different options, and the one that we're showing here are the parks near me. So you can see that I've highlighted this property in blue here, and in the parks near me, there's a radius set or a buffer set for show me all of the parks that are within 2 miles of me. So you're able to click through the list to find the nearest park to you, and you're also able to see what the park has for amenities as well. If you're looking for a swimming pool, if you're looking for a golf course, all of that information is there. And a nice feature about this on the panel, you have this show on map feature. So that's what I have turned on right now for the parks near me. You're able to see all of the parks highlighted in like this black outline. You can also turn that off so you're not seeing that, but it's kind of helpful to see that on the map, and that's the ability within the property panel, and that's completely configurable for any spatial layer that you have. I think one of our last ones here, we have data views. So I think most popular one is the property data view, where you're able to see your parcels and any zoning information. You have all of your primary themes on that one, but we also have a couple of customers that didn't just want to focus on their properties. So the town of Acton has created a cemetery data view, and they have a full database behind this that is driving the searching and the property panel on the left, or the preview panel rather. It's not property information anymore. And you can search for different names. So here we took a screenshot of searching for the last name Smith. You can see there's a lot of Smiths in this cemetery. Once you find that you're interested in, you can click on it. It'll show up in that left panel. You're able to see that this person's name is Alberta. You can see the death date, you can see the age, you can see all of that information and where they are currently located in the cemetery. They have a very well-developed cemetery database in their grid format. And we also have a lot of clients that have set up specific utilities for their data views. So I was talking about the sewer example before this for the document linking, and a lot of our sewer customers have a specific data view set up. So they're able to search on a manhole number or an outfall ID and pull up specific attributes related to those features. So you can set up a data view for for any data set, not just parcels within MapGeo. All right, we're going to take another audience poll. We want to hear from you if there's any features that you are just hearing about for the first time on MapGeo. And I'm going to launch that poll, give folks a minute or two to get their answers in. All right, we're looking pretty steady. There's a lot of folks that are learning new information today, which is awesome. And that is the goal of this webinar, is to teach you new things and to show you what is possible on MapGeo and show you what some of your surrounding neighbors and towns might be doing. So thank you for submitting your responses. And we will continue on. Carson, I'm going to pass things over to you for a live demo. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you take it away.
You just get everything set up. We're good. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, you are good.
Awesome. So I'm just going to kind of run through a couple of things that Eilina and Rebecca both talked about today, and just kind of show you it in action, show how quick it is, how quick and easy it is to do all these things, and just kind of give you a showcase. So we're starting off in the town of North Andover here. You know, some clients have a agreement and just a little disclaimer page, so we can agree to that and just go through there. You know, here's the main map. I'm going to log in our bottom left here. You can either use in sign-in credentials that have been given to you, or if you're tied to a Google account, you can just sign in with Google. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is search for an address. We'll get the disclaimer pop up. You can see in the bottom left that I'm now signed in. You can see my account, and you can get the account information from there. I'm going to go to an area, and I'm going to search for Ferber Avenue. And so this is all of the parcels that have Ferber Avenue as part of their area. So, you know, you can search via this upper right-hand screen, and you can get the whole list as was shown, and you can highlight to all of these. So we can click on this, go to 54. It zooms us in a little bit, and it gives us all of the property information with a little screenshot of Google up here. You know, we can see the evaluation, the trash routes, links to calendars if you want to add this to your calendar too. So if you want to see, you know, I got trash pickup on Tuesday, let me just add that to my calendar. There are links available for that. So let's kind of just drop in and look at some themes. So up here in the themes list, you can see North Endo has a wide array of themes that you're able to kind of toggle on and off here. We have imagery. We have some really useful ones for, you know, the citizens. We're finding your voting precinct. Just zoom out a little bit so you can get an idea what's going on. So we can see we're in voting precinct 1 here. You know, we're in budding precinct 4. We can actually calculate some walk and drive times to these areas, and we can toggle down the transparency. So we can just kind of have that slightly in the background. We can see in here that our walk times, these are walk times basically to polling locations. So I can pull up those polling locations and we'll have those starred. And we can see that these are calculated with an open route service algorithm that shows, you know, this is all of the areas that are within a 10-minute walk. So, you know, the start of Ferber Avenue here is, you know, about a 10-minute walk from this ballot box location. There's another polling location down at the school here. So we're able to see all of that. So that's great. And if we want to kind of get some more context, we can also pull up some Google satellite imagery. And we can leave these features on, we can turn them off, you know, it'll retoggle them back on for us. Let's take them off because we're getting a little full of things here. And we can kind of see, you know, a lot of different aspects to what we want to pull up, land value, all of those things. So let's kind of take a little walk on Street View. We can see that we have a few different themes if we want to use Google. We also have our Google obliques. So if we want to pull up that oblique viewer, just give it a second to load up here. You can see this nice crisp imagery that allows us to kind of pan at an angle and view all of these different town. So we can see, here's our Ferber Ave again from a different angle, being able to see the sides of houses. We can get a window count. Now we can pull in our Google Street View, and we're using our drag and drop tool. So now we're right in front of 54 Ferber Ave, apparently. So that's the one, and we can kind of confirm that with our drop down point here. So this is a really powerful tool that allows you to really get information and confirm that information with some Google imagery on the ground as well. So if you got some really tiny features, you can really figure out what those are by doing a quick confirmation. So we also have a couple of different things. You can toggle this imagery back off. And let's kind of zoom into this one property here and kind of get an idea of what we want to do here with the markup tool. So we have the markup tool, as we brought up earlier, which allows you to draw and measure. So we can kind of grab a total angle and we can just mark off this area as a spot and kind of just mark off, here's the garage, and we can measure the distance from the garage to the main street here with the measurement tool. I pull up the line and I grab it from here and I pull it up, and we can see we're about 50 feet from the main right of way here. So we can go down to this bottom panel right here and save these edits. I'm not going to save them right now because it's a little bit of work. And we'll kind of want to focus on some other aspects. So you can save these if you're logged into an account, and then you can share those with other people. As we talked about earlier, if you want to get this information over really quickly, you can just come up to the top here and you can just Control-C and copy this URL. And this URL will take you to this exact framing of MapGeo. So you'll see all of this property information, you'll see these highlighted, all of this information will be retained in that URL. So it's a really powerful way to kind of hand off information. If you want to say, I'm talking about this garage on 54 Ferber Street, instead of having to have somebody go and find it themselves, you can just send them this URL and they'll be immediately able to, be panned to this location and see exactly what you're talking about. So we can use some other tools, and we can leverage our abutters tool right here. So, we're going to clear our search results because we're going to make a new search selection around 54 Ferber. And so we can see all of the list here of all the abutting parcels or all the adjacent nearby parcels in a 300-foot buffer radius. So this is, something that's, as these, a couple of assessors have said, are really powerful tools. Before they'd have somebody come in and ask for a certified abutters list. And it would take them like a day or two to kind of prep all that stuff and come up with all the information and pull that out from the relevant resources. Now we're seeing that people come into the assessor's office and ask for these lists, and instead of I'll get back to you within a day, it's give me like 5 minutes and I can come give you a printout sheet. So we can come in here and we can either use the selection or the abutters tool, and we can download these results as we were looking at. And we can get a abutters report if we want. We can also just grab a list of all these properties in a spreadsheet, or we can grab the mailing labels. So we can just pull one down and it just downloads out to your folder. As you can see, it just popped up and we're getting that download right now. So that's a really powerful tool if you want to really quickly grab some things and just get some data and pass it along to somebody else. So this is really good for just kind of disseminating information and being able to verify property asset information in that location. The last thing I want to kind of touch on, and we'll step away from North Andover here, is looking at data views. So we kind of touched on those a little bit, but I don't think it really does it justice with just a screenshot. So, up here in the top left, we can see that Acton has their own cemetery view. And when we click on that, basically the MapGeo site gets reformatted to kind of reflect this. So we can see that we have 3 cemeteries in the town, and we can see that there are themes tailored to that. In this case, we don't have any themes, but we'll be back on that in a second. And everything's kind of configured around looking at these specific assets for a town or a city. So now we can pull up all the Petersons record labels of their grave sites and see, that they're in a cement vault and all this type of information. But it doesn't just have to be some, cemetery information, stuff like that. If you really want to customize MapGeo, you can customize it for utility departments, for a bunch of different people. So in West Hartford here, we see that they've really leaned into using these data views, and they have a bunch of different ones. A really great one here is our stormwater system that allows us to kind of get a network. So, the utility departments can really leverage MapGeo just for them. You can see that we have some specific themes that are only for this data view: FEMA flooding, topography, town parcels, and we can toggle all those on and off. This is the base default, is a look at all the stormwater system. Right here, I've clicked on this property. This is an outfall. So this is a little outfall asset, and we can see that they have also incorporated these images into it, giving us a little ID of 365. Here's a picture of the outfall and its condition, and then a bunch of relevant information for it in here. So these can really be leveraged, depending on what you want to do to really get the most out of it and really make it an efficient experience for whoever's going to be using this. So it's a really, really powerful tool. That is all I have for the demo. I hope you found it insightful and helpful. And if there's anything that you would like to kind of get on your own site, we are here to help.
If there's anything that we did not go over in the live demo, definitely send us over an email, which will be at the end of the presentation, and we can have schedule a meeting with you to go over anything. So, all right, let's jump back into our slides. All right, so we have some additional support on how to leverage MapGeo. So Eilina, I'll let you cover these.
Awesome. On the same note that we parted with is, if there's anything that we didn't cover in the live demo or even in this whole webinar, we are always here to help. And you can always reach us through any MapGeo site to ask questions about any of the capabilities, how to use them. And you can reach us through the additional support, whether it be for requests or reporting improvements that are needed to the site that you notice. So to get help, you can look at the left-hand panel of all MapGeo sites, and you'll see these icons at all times, or you can extend the panel by selecting the 3 white lines on the top left. The question mark brings you to the MapGeo help manual, where you can actually just go through an inventory and read up on information yourselves on how to use these tools, or you can select the speech bubble for you to submit feedback. This will open up a ticket to speak with a MapGeo support team. And like Rebecca said, we're always happy to set up a meeting and show you how to do things or correspond via those tickets. In addition, you may find that while you're using Google Base Map, some things that aren't as up to date or just looks a little funky and you want to talk to Google, you can actually report a map error straight from MapGeo. And Google actually has a data partnership program to upload the latest data, such as buildings, parcels, any other base map information, because they want to receive the most up-to-date information from an authoritative source. So your town can submit this data, and your feedback is actually, you can potentially help Google provide more accurate information for your local community. And this is something we can definitely help you clients with your Spatial IQ support budget. Next, with the MapGeo support portal, this is very in-depth. You can find a variety of resources, including how to use specific tools in the front-facing site, how to navigate the console, for those of you who have access to the console as part of your subscription, more tips and tricks, and even examples of how other sites are using MapGeo. So this is all with the goal to make raising your spatial IQ easier and more accessible for you and your community. So please take a look and search around at the site showed on this slide.
Awesome. Thanks, Eilina. I also throw in here too that on the support portal, we also have a link to all of our MapGeo quarterly newsletters that are going out. And this quarter's newsletter should be going out later on this week. So you can always find that here if you didn't receive the email. And again, our MapGeo support at mapgeo.io is the email to send over if you have any questions or you would like to schedule a demo on something more specific that we were not able to cover today. So just to kind of wrap some things up, MapGeo is super configurable. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to fellow towns that have MapGeo to see what they're doing. If there's something specific that you want to do, let's have that conversation. Let's have a brainstorming session to go over anything that we can better help you with to achieve your day-to-day tasks and goals. So now we will open it up for questions. I know Eileen has been answering questions kind of as they've been coming in, but I think we have a couple more that we haven't not yet answered.
So I see Danny Smith has asked for a demo on the oblique measure tool in the viewer. I can actually do that right now if you'd like to kind of do a quick view of that. I have the demo for the oblique analyst open. If we want to just kind of quickly show how that would look once it's integrated.
Sure. Let me stop sharing my screen.
All right, great. Let me pull that up really quick. Gonna share my screen again. So this is just a kind of a quick visual demo of the Sanborn oblique analyst. So eventually, hopefully in the near future, this will be kind of integrated into here. So you'll be able to kind of click it on here and it'll split this view in half and you'll be able to see the MapGeo view right here at the top. And then this oblique analyst will be visible on the bottom. And so this is the tool that we are hopefully going to integrate very soon. It allows you to look with very, very high-res imagery, much better than what Google's kind of giving you the view of really good details from all different angles. And in here, which something that the Google Tilt view or their angled imagery doesn't have is the ability to use measuring areas, measuring height, and things like that. And so it's built into this system that allows you to really get a good angle on things. So I'm going to just come from this angle really quick. Just pop this up so we get a really good image. And so I got the height one right here and I can just draw and I don't have to like make sure my mouse is in the right spot. I don't have to really film it because really play with it. It's all already integrated into the oblique analyst, which allows you to really quickly grab a quick height on all these things. If you want to grab the slope of something, all of that information is available here. So just a very, very powerful tool. It has a lot of the same functionality where you can export as PDFs, you can remove things, you can kind of mark it up and give you a really good plan and just so much more detailed information if you're trying to plan something out or just verify information, verify the area of a swimming pool or, the side of this wall, the face, everything is really quick and the tools are really integrated well into the actual imagery itself. So that oblique imagery and those measurements are really coming out as one-to-one.
Awesome. Yeah, this integration will just be a smaller version of view-wise, where, like Carson said, it's just going to be that split view. So you'll have your parcel from MapGeo side, and then you'll have the Sanborn oblique imagery that's down below.
Yeah, so they should be integrated seamlessly, and all this functionality will remain in the MapGeo view of it.
Exactly. All right. Next question. Let's see, can we draw a polygon on the map and get the abutters list within the polygon? Yeah, so you're talking kind of about doing a selection of multiple parcels in order to get the abutters list for those combined parcels as a cluster. Yes, you are able to do that. You're able to click one parcel and just keep adding to that list. I believe it's by holding the control button. And here we do have all of our past webinar recordings. This one will be posted probably in about a week or so. It'll also be sent out to everybody that registered for this webinar. So you will get that recording directly so you can share it with other colleagues who might not have been able to attend today.